What is doing, everybody? It's Mr. Scape Girl. We're gonna do a video today. Yeah. Today, first of all, happy Saturday, everybody. Today, I figured we would go ahead and do something a little bit different. All right. I don't know about you guys. I like watching scary stuff, spooky, scary stuff. Sometimes. Some people don't necessarily feel like that's a good time. I beg to differ, alright? Sometimes, in fact, I will put myself through the torture of watching like an awful film just so I can rag on it. I bet you didn't know that one. Of course you did. Of course you already knew. But today we're gonna be taking a look at some scary stories on YouTube. Some animated scary stories. So the first one up for today is actually going to be it's from a channel called Dark Ace Animations. I'm going to make sure that I put their link somewhere up there. But yeah, this is two true first date horror animated stories. Very disturbing. So, without any further ado, let's get right into the video.
Months back, I decided I was pretty much over the breakup I'd had during the summer with my long-term girlfriend.
Okay.
It took me months to be able to get over it, as I was really heartbroken, but at some point you just sort of have to get back on the horse, don't you?
Yeah.
So I downloaded that dating app Hinge and started swiping through profiles. It's definitely the best dating app I've come across, as it lets you actually message girls directly instead of just sort of hoping that they're going to see you and match with you.
Alright.
So it definitely gave me a better chance at getting to talk to the kind of girls I'm into, and one of these was a Persian girl named Sarushe.
Her name's Sarasha?
Sarushe was honestly one of the most beautiful girls I'd ever...
Yo, her name is like, it's one of those, it's like, yo, what's the name of that one girl? The Asian girl? Karacha?
laid eyes on.
Whatever her name is, bro.
She had this big mess of wild dark hair that was dip-dyed blonde towards the ends, really high cheekbones, perfectly sculptured eyebrows, and some of the deepest, darkest, most alluring brown eyes I'd ever seen.
Deepest, darkest, alluring.
She was simply stunning, and because she'd grown up in Tehran, the capital of Iran, I had something of an edge. You see, I speak a little bit of Farsi, the language they speak there, and I figured that might impress her if I told her as much, which it did, and boom. Only an hour or so later, I sent her my opener and we were chatting. She was an extremely busy person, and I was flattered when she said that she would make time to see me.
Okay.
So, we arranged to meet for coffee over the weekend. She showed up to our date in her gym gear and apologized for being so underdressed, but could only make it after a scheduled workout with a personal trainer. But I didn't care at all.
Scheduled workout with a personal trainer.
Absolutely smoking hot in her yoga pants.
Yo, she was sweaty?
Hey,
yo, she was sweaty? Listen. Hopefully, if you over here on my side of YouTube, you're not like too you're not too young. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to. I hope you're not like really young at all over here. But listen, she was sweaty.
We were having coffee, just kind of chatting about our lives, our interests, all that first date kind of stuff, when I look out of the big glass windows to see this dude leaning up against his car. I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me at first, but after a minute or two I realized that he was just staring at us. At one point, Sarushe noticed me looking over her shoulder and asked what I'm looking at.
Karuchi, what is you doing?
I make a comment about the bloke outside who seemed to be proper eyeballing us. She then turns around, looking over her shoulder, then spins back with this terrifying...
Oh, no, you're not going to make that face.
We have to leave, now. I'm all like, why? Do you know that fella? And she denies knowing...
It was Chris Brown. Alright.
Him, but I'm not a dope. I knew what the score was, like, straight away. Either it was a controlling family member or something, or it was a psycho ex-boyfriend.
Bro...
I figured all he'd do was follow us to try and be intimidating or something, but I never imagined he'd actually lay hands on me, and the way that he did it absolutely scared the soil out of me. You see, where I live is built up along this big mile-wide river, and the coffee shop me and Suresh had chosen to meet at was right on the docks.
Yo, Ceviche, you tripping,
so we're walking along the city's promenade when the guy cornered me.
Oh, hell no!
And started pushing me backwards so my back
was leaning over the rails.
I tried to get him off, but this bloke was an absolute unit, and as much as I tried, there was no getting him off of me. And the thing about the river where I live is that it's a really, really strong current. Like, if you fall off of the boat or over the side of the prom, you can be in serious trouble as the current will suck you under the water, drown you, and then just drag you out into the Irish Sea. So the whole time he's threatening me, telling me to leave Suresh alone, all this big macho masculine stuff.
Are you serious?
Suresh is smacking him around the head, telling him to get off me, and all the while I'm
thinking, that's what you got for me, Max?
Here, I'm a dead man.
A couple of these?
And I don't think he had any idea of it either. Like, it didn't sound like he was from our city, as we have a very particular accent, which he just didn't have.
No.
So he was probably thinking he could lash me in the water and embarrass me a wee bit, and I'd just be fine, but I'm telling you now, I wouldn't have been, and he'd have been done for manslaughter.
Bruh.
But thank God, he didn't throw me over the railings. He just sort of backed off and headed back the way that he'd come after he'd blown off a little bit of steam.
You a nut. Listen. That was nutty. That was super nutty, bro. You came over so you could be like, leave Surrender alone. That's my sriracha. It's my ceviche. Leave her alone. Like, shut up, bro. Get off of me. Get off of me. Alright? I'm with Karuchi down. Karuchi? Whatever, bro. Alright?
I mean, the girl was gorgeous. I don't blame him for being a bit sore after a breakup or jealous of another lad, but...
Nah, I'm gonna blame him for that. I'm gonna blame him for that one, fam.
If he'd have lost his cool,
bro,
really lost control...
You just got yoked up.
I legit wouldn't be...
I'm gonna blame you for that one, fam.
I'd be floating in the Irish Sea somewhere, maybe washing up as a rotten corpse on the beach in County Cork, all because of some idiot getting a bit jealous.
He said he would have been sleeping in the Irish Sea, right? Word? You take the high road, and I'll take the low road. I'ma get sriracha in the morning. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
So before this whole lockdown thing happened and my dating life went to hell in a handbasket, I used to swipe through Tinder and Bumble quite a lot, looking for girls to hook up with. So I'm bored in my Silver Lake apartment one day when I come across this absolute smoke show of a girl who was listed under the name Lilith. She had these big green eyes, wore pigtails a lot in her profile pictures, and had absolutely no qualms of showing off this big peachy butt she had. She also had this goth girl vibe going, which was something I find really attractive. I mean, she was definitely not the kind of girl I'd bring home to mom, but that's not really what I'm looking for when I'm swiping, so naturally, I swipe right. Boom. We match. I think I actually let out this involuntary "no way" when the old "it's a match" text appeared, and kind of cynically told myself,
"No,
she's a bot, this isn't real." But yup, it was real, and she was so cute to talk to. At first, anyway, because things started to go a little different when we actually met up. She worked at this coffee shop at the Getty and asked me if I wanted to pick her up after her shift so she could take me somewhere real special, which turned out to be the Museum of Death on Hollywood Boulevard.
Why can't we just go see a movie? Huh? Why? Why can't we just go see a movie? Give me one reason we can't just go see a movie, Lilith. I get it, alright? You all gothed up, alright? Goth chic. You lucky he clearly like, fam, but she's fine, but she bad. All right, my G, I see.
I mean, not my ideally romantic place to go on a first date, but like I said, she was a slam piece, and it was basically impossible to say no to her.
Yo, quick side note: why does slam piece sound terrible? It's not really, but it sounds. Yo, it sounds so much worse than smoke show. Okay.
So it was decided, and after I picked her up, she kept
never
it
heard
a mystery
anybody
for
say
a
that
while,
before.
only telling me to drive her to Hollywood Boulevard before revealing where she actually wanted to go. The area around the museum is kind of sketchy, but again...
Hey, yo. Are you wearing... What's the name of those shoes, yo? The McQueen Jones, bro? Are you wearing McQueens right now? Out on your date with Lilith? In her goth garb? At the Museum of Death. Bro, I'm not even gonna hold you, man. This couple look a little weird. I am not gonna judge, though. It is what it is.
Again, I'd have driven through way worse neighborhoods for a date with this girl, so I just pushed all my concerns to the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm. That's what
Despite
you first
the interior
up at.
being as dark and dingy as it was, looking like an over-clustered basement, the whole thing was actually kind of interesting at first. But I'd be lying if I said my eyes stayed on the exhibits the whole time, when they were pretty much glued to her butt whenever I wasn't going to get caught looking.
Hey!
It most definitely wasn't particularly creepy either, but the things that Lilith started to say to me as we were walking around the place did in a big, bad way too. Like I said, the exhibits were interesting, but that's all they were aside from being gross and spooky.
That was it.
There were death masks, body parts preserved in formaldehyde, all the things you might come to expect from a place called the Museum of Death, and then some.
Bro, you really wanted Lilith, bro.
Starts saying how pretty some of this stuff is, looking at it the way any other girl might look at a picture of a puppy or something. She then starts asking me all these weird questions about how I'd like to die. Yeah.
Word, Lilith. What are you doing? He's giving you so many passes right now. It's bad enough that you showed up like half a Puffy Amiyumi, alright? Come on, son. Stall him out. Maybe don't take me to the Death Museum and then be like, oh my gosh, these corpses are just so kawaii. Stop, bro. Just let...
How I'd like to die. I tell her I wouldn't like to die at all. I mean, it was legit the creepiest question I think I'd ever been asked, weird, and she insists that everyone has a way they'd most want to die. I don't want to screw up the date or anything. She seemed crazy, and crazy girls can be real fun, if you catch my meaning, so I give her some throwaway response like,
listen, yo... You the trillest I've ever seen one of these dudes in one of these stories, bro. He said, listen, man. She's crazy. But that ain't the only thing that might be crazy, bro. Like,
right? She starts telling me how that was a boring answer and how she'd like to die of hypothermia because it apparently makes you feel all warm and sleepy towards the end. How some victims of hypothermia have even taken their clothes off before they died and just laid down in the snow or whatever before their heart stops beating. She also then gave me this long, in-depth speech about how taking another person's life would be better than even getting intimate, if you catch my drift. How that feeling of pure power must dwarf any feeling that drugs or alcohol.
Bro, why have you not ended this date yet, bro?
She then tells me how hot she thought it would be to
games have never been that good, bro.
A pool while there's an audience, and how it'd actually turn her on to see my final moments of desperation before my body went limp and floated around the tank. Then something about how the Vikings would make wings out of the skin on a person's back by peeling it off and spreading it out.
Yo, Lilith, what is your goal here, yo? What is your goal?
When she's done telling me all of that, and I'm suitably freaked out, she starts calling me pet. And how she wanted me chained up at the end of her bed so she could do whatever she wanted with me. Now,
it's time to go.
Girl,
it's time to go home.
I think that was
I gotta go home.
Kinky, but
nah, it's not just
Lilith
kinky.
Had just talked about.
No,
I really didn't think what she had in mind for me involved any kind of pleasure whatsoever.
Bro, no.
When it came to driving her home, She actually told me to stop a few blocks away from her house because she didn't want me to know exactly where it was that she lived at, saying that you couldn't be too careful these days with all the psychos in the world who use dating apps. Yep. She said that to me after she'd spent like an hour talking about all the ways she'd want to die or how she'd watch me die. As soon as I got home, I blocked her number.
You dang
I've never
Skippy.
been more scared of anyone like that before, let alone a girl I wanted to hook up with. So, Lilith, if you're reading this, let's not meet again.
Absolutely not. No. So what did we learn today, folks? Nothing. Not a dang thing. We didn't learn nothing. I'll tell you what we learned. We learned some people are out of their minds. Wow. Just wow. Stay away from Jones named Lilith, bro. That's what I learned. Stay away from him. And if your date ever tells you she wants to take you to the Death Museum, it's not worth it, fam. It's just not worth it. But hey, I got a mic. I got a drill. Be easy, drill game.